On a foggy Sunday morning, the 26th of January, 2020, a helicopter lifted off into the low clouds above Los Angeles. On board were 9 people, including a father and his young daughter on their way to a basketball game. Minutes later, all 9 were gone. Inside was Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest basketball players who ever lived, and beside him, his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna. He had conquered the sport, the world, and more than a few of his own demons. He was just 41 years old. This is the whole story of the Black Mamba, the kid from Philadelphia, the 5 championships, the fall, the comeback, and the quiet devotion that defined his final years. And the truth about the morning that stopped the world. He was born Kobe Bean Bryant on the 23rd of August, 1978. In Philadelphia, his father, Joe Jellybean Bryant, was a professional basketball player, so the game was in his blood from the very first day. When Kobe was 6, his family moved to Italy, where his father kept playing. He grew up speaking Italian, fell completely in love with basketball, and spent hours imitating the NBA stars he studied on tapes mailed over from home. As a teenager, he came back to Pennsylvania and turned a quiet school called Lower Merion into a national sensation, leading them to their first state title in 53 years and becoming the most talked-about high schooler in America. In 1996, he made a stunning choice. He skipped college entirely and entered the NBA draft straight out of high school at just 17. He was picked 13th by the Charlotte Hornets, then immediately traded to the team he would define for the next 20 years, the Los Angeles Lakers. He was raw, fearless, and almost absurdly confident. Soon he was paired with a giant, the unstoppable Shaquille O'Neal, and together they would build a dynasty. But first, the teenager had to prove he belonged among grown men. What truly set him apart wasn't only the talent, it was the obsession. He trained before dawn and long after midnight, studied every tiny detail, and demanded more of himself than any coach ever could. That relentless drive would earn its own name, the Mamba Mentality. It paid off from 2000 to 2002. Kobe and Shaq won 3 straight NBA championships, a three-peat, turning the Lakers into the most feared team on the planet. But 2 superstars won basketball. Behind all the winning, Kobe and Shaq clashed over leadership, over ego, over whose team it really was. The greatest duo in the game was quietly tearing apart at the seams. Then, in 2003, came the darkest chapter of his life. Kobe was arrested and charged with sexually assaulting a 19-year-old woman at a Colorado hotel. He denied assaulting her, saying he believed the encounter had been consensual. The criminal case was dropped the next year, after the woman chose not to testify. A separate civil lawsuit was later settled out of court. Kobe issued a public apology to her, acknowledging that she did not see that night the way he did. It was a reckoning that remains part of his story, and it should not be erased from it. On the court, the partnership broke for good. In 2004, Shaq was traded away, and the Lakers became, without question, Kobe's team. Now the entire weight of a franchise rested on him alone, and the doubters wondered if he could carry it. And carry it he did. On the 22nd of January, 2006. Kobe scored 81 points in a single game against the Toronto Raptors, the second most points anyone has ever scored in an NBA game, behind only Wilt Chamberlain's 100. It was one of the greatest individual nights basketball has ever seen. But brilliance alone wasn't enough. For a few seasons, the titles dried up, the team rebuilt around him, and critics asked out loud whether Kobe could ever win again without a giant beside him. Then came his answer, in 2008. Kobe was named the NBA's most valuable player. And that summer, he led the United States to Olympic gold in Beijing, anchoring the squad that called itself the Redeem Team. Back in Los Angeles, a new co-star arrived, the skilled big man Pau Gasol. With him, Kobe finally had a teammate he could lead instead of fight, and the Lakers were title contenders once again. In 2009, they won it all, and Kobe was named Finals MVP for the first time. He had finally proven he could lead a champion as the man, not the sidekick. The very next year, 2010, he did it again, beating his oldest rivals, the Boston Celtics, in a brutal 7-game finals for his 5th championship and his 2nd Finals MVP. He had pulled himself level with the legends of the game. In 2012, he won a 2nd Olympic gold in London. By now, he wasn't just a player. He was a global icon, known by a single name on every continent, Kobe. Then his body began to break, in April 2013. At 34, he tore his Achilles tendon, the kind of injury that ends most careers. But before limping off the court, Kobe stood at the free throw line and calmly sank both shots. It was the Mamba mentality made real. He fought his way back, again and again, through injury after injury. The explosive young Kobe was gone, but the will never left him. He was determined to leave the game standing on his own terms. And he did exactly that, on the 13th of April, 2016. In the final game of his 20-year career, Kobe Bryant scored 60 points, willing the Lakers to one last win, then walking off with 2 simple words: Mamba out. What came next surprised everyone. The fiercest competitor in sports became, in his own words, a girl dad. With his wife, Vanessa, he was raising 4 daughters, and he poured the very same intensity he'd given basketball into being their father. He reinvented himself completely. He wrote books, built businesses, and told stories. In 2018, he won an Academy Award, an Oscar, for an animated short film called Dear Basketball, based on the poem he had written to say goodbye to the game. And then there was Gianna. His 2nd daughter, Giggy, had caught the basketball bug and dreamed of one day playing in the WNBA. Kobe became her coach, her biggest fan, and the proudest man in any gym she played in. When he looked at her, people said, he saw himself. On the morning of the 26th of January, 2020, Kobe and Gianna set off for one of her youth tournament games. To beat the notorious Los Angeles traffic, they traveled the way they often did, by helicopter, with a small group of Jiggy's teammates, their families, and her coaches. It was a route Kobe had flown many times, with an experienced pilot he knew and trusted. But that Sunday morning, a thick fog had rolled in over the city, so dense that even the police helicopters had been grounded. The helicopter pressed on through the gray. Somewhere over the hills of Calabasas, with the fog closing in around him, the pilot tried to climb high enough to break out into clear sky above. But inside that cloud, with no horizon to fix on, he lost all sense of which way was up. The helicopter banked and came down into the hillside below. In a single moment, it was over. All 9 on board were gone. Kobe, Gianna, just 13 years old, 2 of her young teammates and their families, her coaches, and the pilot. 9 lives on a Sunday morning on the way to a children's basketball game. The news broke within the hour, and the world simply stopped. Crowds flooded the streets outside the Lakers arena. Murals appeared across Los Angeles overnight. Strangers wept on every continent. To millions, it felt impossible, like the news had to be wrong. And as always came the question, how? The official investigation by America's National Safety Board found no engine failure, no sabotage, no drugs or alcohol. The cause, they concluded, was the weather and a fatal decision. The pilot, they found, should never have flown on into that thick cloud. Once inside it, blind, with nothing to steer by, he became disoriented and lost control. It was not a mystery and not a plot. It was a preventable accident in the fog that took 9 people who should still be here today. Kobe's widow, Vanessa, was left to raise their 3 surviving daughters and to guard everything that he and Giggy had built, which she has fought fiercely and publicly to protect ever since. His basketball legacy was already eternal. Months after his death, he was elected to the Hall of Fame and enshrined the following year. Both of his jerseys, number 8 and number 24, hang in the rafters in Los Angeles. And Mamba Mentality became a creed for an entire generation of athletes and dreamers. Gianna's memory lives on, too. Honored at WNBA games and lovingly called Mambacita by fans, the girl who dreamed of playing professionally became a symbol for every young woman chasing the very dream her father believed she could reach. Kobe Bryant was not a simple hero. He was a man of fierce flaws and fierce greatness. The Colorado case a permanent part of his record, and the devoted father of his final years just as real. The honest story holds both, without erasing either one. So rest easy, Kobe, and rest easy, Jiggy. The boy from Philadelphia chased greatness harder than almost anyone who ever lived. And in the end, the thing he loved most in the world wasn't a trophy at all. It was a 13-year-old girl who just wanted to play the game like her dad. If this story moved you, follow a new legend every week. We've told the story of the king of pop, the voice, the poet, and the people's princess. Now the Black Mamba. Who should we honor next? Leave a name in the comments.